Oh, dude, cool. Right there.
I saw you had some. I was like, hey, I'm drinking Pepsi this week.
Choice.
I like Coke. Yeah, I like them both.
Oh,
But
dude. Okay, we're done with this conversation.
hey, man, I like them both. Coke, I think is better, but I like them both.
Yeah. Well, that film noobs. Thank you for coming this week. That was our conversation with Joey. That we're done. But
Coke is it.
so in all reality, if you're listening to this or watching this, actually, this will go on Monday, a little after Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day for everybody that's out there, which Joey happens to be one.
Hey, you
So
too.
thank you. Again, I know it's been a minute, and I'll catch y'all up later on. So because we're not really here to talk about me, we're here to talk to Joey. Now, Joey, I've known him for what, about 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 years,
Yeah.
probably 3 years.
We met right after I left Art Institute. But he is a fellow filmmaker, now producer, creator, and we'll get to that. But yeah, man, Joey, thank you for coming to Film Noobs, bro.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me out here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm retired Air Force.
It's okay. It's
Uh,
perfect.
yeah, you know, yeah, retired Air Force. Didn't know what I want to do. I saved the GI Bill. I didn't give it to my kids. I got it myself, so I used it myself. And I was like, hey, I'll use my GI Bill for film school because I've always loved movies. I've always loved that was like a big thing in my childhood growing up in the '80s and stuff. My parents took me to the movies like every weekend, and I just loved that. Just these emotions the movies would have you. You know, you'd be in the movie, like, oh, ah, and then you come out and you're like, oh, you know, you're trying to fight your dad, like, or, you know, he's like, get off because you see Rocky movie or you see some ninja movie, so you come out all excited, and that's what I want to do. I want to make a movie where people just enjoy the movie and they come out kind of pumped from the movie. And even if it's a bad movie, you still have fun. You know, I just want people to have fun in the movie, you know, from the movie. People talk about. I think every movie, even bad ones, they all have at least one good thing in there that you can laugh about.
Yeah. I had seen I don't know if it was an interview or if it was an article online that I read that how to determine a really good movie. They're like, it all it is not the lighting, it's not none of that shit. It's if you can remember one good scene. If you
Yeah,
can remember one good scene from that movie, it was a good movie. I was like,
yeah,
it puts it into retrospect when you're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. Because if you can't remember shit about the movie, I guess it wasn't a good movie, you know?
yeah. You just kind of checked out before, you know, while you were watching it. But yeah, if you remember stuff, like there's all kind of like, oh man, what was that one? I can't even remember. I don't remember the name of it, but there's something. I think it's Redneck Zombies from a
Yeah.
long time ago, and it's not a great movie, but it's not a horrible movie. But the funniest part for me is like there's a guy pretending like he's a zombie, and but the zombies are really stinky, and he's trying to spray like Reinhardt, you know, spray on them so they don't smell as bad, you know.
What?
And it's kind of like almost like what was that one? The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and that one
Yeah.
guy dressed as a asked for ketchup. Like the zombies catch him spraying, you know, deodorant on them, and then they get him.
Nice, nice. So now you said you went to film school. Let's talk a
Yeah,
little bit about that because I had asked you previously, but so we're good to go on this.
yeah,
You went to Art Institute. Well, we actually
yes,
both did. I
yeah.
left
Artist,
a little, yeah, I
um,
left a little bit earlier than you did. Well, you graduated from there.
yes, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How was your experience, and how do you feel with everything that's happened, whatever, that having gone to Art Institute has molded you as a filmmaker?
I don't know. I felt like it was one of those ones at the school that you're pretty much gonna get in. I don't think they're gonna like deny you. Um, I felt like it wasn't as big and diverse as I'd hoped. You know, like there'd be a lot more instructors, a lot more different things. But it was just being around people that want to make film has
Yeah.
really helped out. You know, just get in a group of like-minded people, and then just like I've helped everybody with all their projects, and the people help me with mine. But you just kind of go and you go, oh, I want to work with that guy, or I don't want to work with that other guy, or just different things. It's just a fun film school. Like, you know, they say like some people they don't need it. You can make anybody can make a movie, but if you're around, you just put yourself around those people that are making film, and you just learn so much from everybody else. But the Art Institute, I felt like I wanted more. I wanted more. I liked some of the instructors, some of them I didn't. Um, and it seemed like I had like the same instructor for a lot of stuff, and I was like, man, I want to learn from not just one person, but multiple people.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Now,
But
I know,
overall, I liked it. Sorry,
say
go ahead.
again?
I said overall, I enjoyed the experience. I made a lot of good friends. I still talk to everybody from there.
That is true because I mean, again, we met through the Art Institute, and it was a briefly, yeah, it was a brief encounter between us two. I think we were
Yeah, yeah,
working on a joint project,
yeah,
and after that, we've like sporadically, jumped back and forth, met each other, bumped into each other, whatever.
yeah,
The good thing is, and I'll say it anytime over and over again, you actually started working with Brett Mauser after
yeah.
which he's one of the instructor, well, was one of the instructors at Art Institute. I say was because the Art Institute of San Antonio is no longer there.
Right.
Um, but he is a prolific filmmaker. And I say
Yeah.
prolific in the best way possible. He's a mad scientist. Every time I,
Hmm.
I get on set with that motherfucker, he's crazy. He's
Yes.
crazy shit.
Yes.
But the
Definitely.
stuff he puts out is fucking badass. And I've loved working with him and watching him as he's done stuff. How's your experience been? Because I know you're a producer for him.
Yeah. Yeah. My experience has been really cool. It's something he's like offered to like pretty much everybody that's there. He's like, hey, come out and film with me if you want after we get graduated. And I went, and there's like he says, not many people come out. Not many people come out. Not many people stay around. It's just something I want to do. I want to make films, and I figured this is. I kind of treat it almost like a master and a student, like because he's made so many films, he's got so much
Yeah.
knowledge, and just like if I'm not doing nothing, I'm still thinking about my cow movie, just thinking, but I'm not doing. Like, hey, at least I could go help somebody make their film, and I've learned a ton. I've learned a ton. I've got to do a ton. We've got to go film in Mescal, Arizona, on the Outlaw Jose Whale was filmed there. Quick and the Dead. Just it's like Western hollowed ground of all these westerns were filmed there, and we got to film there. And I was like, dang, it's really cool.
Nice.
It's not many. It's just him and I. It's just the two of us are like the main. He's the director. I'm basically crew. I say crew of two because we both do a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just amazed at some of the stuff. Like this last movie, The Oldest Posse, it came out really well. And there's just some scenes I'm like, man, that's one camera. That's one camera that did all this like chopping back and forth from. But and then we make our crazy stuff like Stealing Rabbit, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But that was it was way cheaper, and it was fun, but it was still work. It's just still it was fun because in Zero Rabbit, my creation, the werecow, is somewhat it's in there, but it gives me more like, okay, when I make my film with that thing, I want to change up the costume a little bit here and there. It was a cool test, but it was just cool to work with him. And I think if anybody gets the opportunity, if somebody says, hey, come out and work with me, if you're not doing anything and you want to do this, go with that person and help them. I mean, if you're not already obligated to do something else, go out, go check it out. If you want to make film, go make film. Don't just think about
Awesome. Now you mentioned your creation, and this is why I said creator, because you created the Were Chicken.
it. Wear cow.
Oh, Were Cow. I'm sorry, the Were Cow.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah.
what is a Were Cow? Because
The
I
werecow, it was just something that like why do werewolves only attack humans? I was just figuring a werewolf would attack a cow as well. So, was out there eating the cows, and they scared it away, but one cow got like scratched or whatever, and that becomes the werecow.
nice because you did a short of the Were Cow, right?
Yes, yeah, full moon is what it's called.
Now, are you going to do the feature for length for that one?
Definitely, yes. I'm gonna call it like Full Moon, the original sequel, because I've made this thing like 2.5 times already as short. And so I've just been thinking of the lore, thinking of the costume, and basically I just got to get my story together. Got to get my story together and go. Like I watched the Legend of El Chupacabra the other weekend. Somebody's local San Antonio filmmaker had that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, this is kind of similar to some of the ideas I had, but I might have to change up a little bit of things here and there. There's a couple jokes in that movie. I was like, oh, I have a joke almost exactly, not exactly, but very similar. And I was like, because that guy I think is around my same age group, and he's pulling from the '80s film. So
Yeah.
basically, I'm pulling different things from movies I enjoyed and kind of put them in a twist in my way. And I was like, oh, he did that with a scene in that movie. And I was like, oh, it better not be exactly like mine. And it wasn't exactly like my idea, but it was similar
Yeah.
enough to where I was like, ooh, crap. Okay, I got to make sure mine. I was like, nah, screw it. I had that idea. Let's like, if you want to go make a zombie movie, you didn't create zombies.
No.
Just go make your own. I mean, you're just making your own. You're not stealing somebody else's stuff. You're just gonna go make something. Like you made a zombie movie.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. There's nothing new under the sun when it comes to zombies. I like literally. I think the last biggest change was, I guess, the Walking Dead series when they kind of changed some of the way the zombies react or whatever. But other than that, zombies are zombies. There's nothing original about them.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, no, I think the one of the biggest guys, and I wanted to mention that Tarantino.
yeah.
Tarantino steals left and right, but it's the execution, and I mean, it's not like it hasn't been done time and time again. The Hateful Eight, or what I think, yeah, that one. Fistful of Dollars. It's just been redone so many times, so forth, and again, it's the execution. But I don't think having a similar joke in a film will stop you from doing anything, especially because
No,
it's
yeah,
original content. As far as like the workout it goes, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I'm still gonna use that joke. Yeah, I'm still gonna use that joke. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you. Oh shit, I forgot because we were talking and we got sidetracked. Because I saw this last film. Well, I've seen both of them. I saw Silver Rabbit, and I
Uh huh.
saw the Western one, The Oldest
Posse.
Posse.
Okay.
But I saw Silver Rabbit on streaming because
Yeah.
Brett is really notorious for getting it out there, getting the people what they want, their hunger. He feeds that
Yeah.
hunger quick.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but with the Oldest Posse, y'all did a little bit different, and y'all took it back to the festivals.
Yeah. He's like it's a festival. Yeah.
How was that? Because I know he's not really big on it. He's like, let's get it done, move forward, yada yada, so forth. Because he's constantly creating stuff. He doesn't stop very long for any.
No. Yeah. No, he
So how
doesn't
was
stop
that?
very. The festival scene was, I think, he wanted to try to get a way to show it on the big screen without having, you know, you have to like rent out the theaters and stuff like that, and everything was just so much more pricey. And he wanted his father to be able to see it because it's kind of like a love story for his dad. But it's a good show. So that's how we got it. Because we got it in Arizona with two different places, Muskogee at another one, and then I think the Heiko one, which I didn't make because I was still tired from the week before in Arizona.
Y'all went to Oklahoma?
Yeah, yeah, we went to Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma. Where was Arizona? And then that light one. I think you were at the one in Heiko.
Yeah,
The
I that's where I saw it on Heiko, and it was
Yeah.
really good because we had a good packed one. It was in a packed house, but it was good like amount of people there that were seeing it. And my
Mm-hmm.
wife, who hates westerns, I made her sit through it.
Oh, nice.
She's
Thank
like,
you.
I fucking hate westerns, and I know Brett's work. He's cheesy stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but let let's see what this one's about. So when we saw it, she was like, man, that's actually pretty good. I like this one. I was like, I mean, she doesn't talk like that. I'm over exaggerating. So I'm sorry, Jennifer, because she actually listens to the podcast. So I apologize. But yeah, we walked out of there, man. We were really pleasantly surprised with the whole film. The cinematography was excellent, and I know he only used like he was saying that y'all only use two panels, pretty much to light most of it.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and then you were saying right now, one camera
yeah.
throughout
One
the whole
camera did the
shoot.
whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe a couple drone shots I did, but I would like he's riding the horse.
yeah.
About the only one. But yeah, the rest of the time is that Z cam, Micro Four Thirds Z cam. You know, and then
Why
like he
choose?
only go for
Why
it.
choose that camera?
That's what he's got. That's what he's. I think mostly because he already had Lumix set up for Micro Four Thirds.
Uh,
Uh, so he just bought a camera that'll work with the Micro Four Third lenses that he has, and yeah, I mean it's just that way. But that camera is a pretty good camera. I mean, it's got a great, it's got two like dual ISO, like the scene, like the final showdown scene.
Hmm.
It was getting super dark, and then he pushed it up to was it to 2500 ISO or was it? I can't remember. It's like 500 and 2500, I think.
Okay.
And so he pushed it up. It you can shoot basically you can shoot raw with that camera, and it'll collect a lot of data. So
Nice.
it was almost like to the human eye, it was pretty dark, and then we weren't using any light to light up that scene because we were trying to finish it before the sun went down.
Yeah.
And he pumped up that ISO, and it doesn't. It looks like it's still shot all at the same time. You know, it doesn't look horribly. You know how like some place, oh, it's really bright here and it's really dark here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff. I'm kind of like on the fence about that kind of stuff. I'm kind of more like I want to light the scene and have the scene lit how I want it, and then maybe do some in post. But I don't know. This allows you to run a gun a lot more because you can mess with the stuff in post a lot afterwards.
Okay. So you said, and this is something interesting because I know the way he shoots him versus what you explained to me, your process for making your films. How do you think you've grown again from school now and in the process of getting ready to shoot your feature or your next project? How do you think you've grown and has your method or your process changed in the process? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I have more confidence. I definitely have more confidence in like dealing with people. I definitely know you got to have your plan, your script, your structure of what's going to happen. Because I know from making my previous films, you go out there and you don't have it all down. You don't have your talent and your crew on the right, all on the same page.
Mhm.
It kind of you can get all over the place. You know, with this one, like Brett has like what he wants you to do, and he goes through with it. And then like as we've been working with him, like I worked on him on Red Days, and everything was kind of like, okay, that's good, let's go. Okay, that's good, let's go. And then we got further on, and Lady Lawman was like that first Western we made. He kind of like he's like pump the brakes. Remember that it was this one we were talking about. He wanted to do like 12 films in one
Yeah.
year with different directors. This was during that. Lady Lawman was going to be the first one, and during Lady Lawman, he kind of started to, hey, slow down. Like I'm going to slow down and like I like this is looking different. I like how this looks, and let's keep. He slowed himself down because you're right. He likes to just make, churn stuff out, get stuff out. He's got good stories, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't think it comes across as well because you didn't put as much time as you could have on it. You know, it's good, but it could be better, and that's what he did with Lady Lawman. He slowed it down. Plus, I think it's a western, and nobody's really making westerns right now. Or actually, there are a lot more westerns on like Netflix and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
but
I don't think
but
mainstream
no, I
Western
mean,
are, yeah. But as far
yeah,
as independent, yeah, independent guys, they love their westerns. I don't know why. I'm not a western guy, so
oh, I love westerns too. I love them. It's just you go back. I don't know if you watched them with your dad or your grandpa. You just like
yeah,
that kind of thing. I think is nostalgia, but this one, the oldest part, it's just a good it's story. Like it's a good story all the way through, and it's got some good stuff. Like because a couple times I was worried about pacing. And I was like, yeah, but I was like, no, it's not super slow. It's not. It doesn't. Its pacing's right. Like because I've watched it about I don't know 6, 7 times now,
yeah,
and every time it's like maybe one or two things I don't like that I'm like, oh, like there's always that damn fly. There's always a fly on somebody's back somewhere.
yeah.
I was I was like, every single one of the movies has a freaking fly in there. We got to give a fly credit because it's always on somebody, right? But I was like, would comment on the music during that, and I was like, yeah, the music is like he's got the music right on this film. Like other films, sometimes he would have the music, and I would say, hey, I feel like their music is kind of like too loud, and
Yeah.
then it drops out, and then it comes back on. And he's like, yeah, I was earlier stage. I was trying to cover up some background noise with the music, whereas as now we don't have to do, like, he doesn't have to do that as much. We just kind of get it. I feel like the music was spot on this time. It wasn't like, really loud and soft so people could talk, and then really loud. I felt like it was just not just the level, but the the musical choices. Like that movie wasn't composed. Some guy didn't watch that movie and compose. He just picked these songs from
Library.
yeah, library. I forgot who he got it from. Like I don't know who's that film. Those guys that do a show on YouTube. I can't remember. Like they
Film
sell
right?
yeah, I think them. I think they have like a western theme, like
Yeah.
story. And that one was it came out right. It came out right. I mean, it was just like the old western.
Bro, I will say that the music for this last one was on point. I don't think you could get any better unless, like you said, you had a guy scoring, the whole film. And if you would have not said that the film wasn't scored, because again, it's a Western and most people don't do Westerns, you could have passed it off as somebody did the score for it because it was on point. The scenes were leading into, there was this one comment at the festival where he's like, "Yeah, dude, you could hear a little subvert of this during this scene, and then and the follow-on scene when it closes, yada yada." And he went on how two scenes connected because of music. I was like, "Dude, you're really paying attention, like big time, to this movie." I'm like, "Man,
Yeah,
that is badass." But yeah, when you do it good, people tend to be like, wow, let me nitpick everything. And that's when they start really realizing what your film is about. So I was like, man,
yeah.
that's badass.
Well, you know what Brett does with the music. He listens to that soundtrack the whole time he's making that movie, or even before when he's thinking about the story. He listens to the music that he's going to use,
Yeah.
and he's thinking about his shots and how he's going to do his shots. And I'm like, that's pretty smart.
Now y'all also did because I was watching one of the episodes. It's called Long Shot.
Long
On,
shot, huh?
yeah, on YouTube. What tell us a little bit about that?
Long shot is kind of that's what Serial Rabbit 7 is. Serial Rabbit 7 is just showing people, hey, you can get out there, you can make a feature film for not very much money. He put $2,500, but I think 1,000 is really for insurance in case we mess with somebody's property or something
Mhm.
went down. So that was 1,000 towards insurance. So you made Serial Rabbit 7 for $1,500. And it's just documenting the process of making that that show just from start to finish. Like if you see it, we've got pre-production, production, post-production, and it just kind of goes through and talking to pretty much like if you watch the first video, which is everybody there talking about, hey, I want to be like this kind of character, I want to die this way, I want to boom, and you see that character came up on screen, and got basically what he wanted. He kind of threw stuff together, and like I never take very much credit for anything because like Brett, like this is like his idea and everything. My workout is involved. I do have some input on different things, but I'm never like you say you called him like a mad scientist. I
Yeah.
told him I'm like his Igor. I'm like I'm just like slightly better looking Igor that helps him do the shit, everything like that. And we create these different monsters, you know.
Dude, but you're like 7 foot tall. You're a pretty big motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like, I know you work with other projects.
Yep.
Your projects, what are we looking at?
My project, you're looking at a huge procrastinator that has finally decided. I watched your film. I watched the Chupacabra. The Legend of Chupacabra. I watched Brett's stuff. I usually try to support everybody's look. I was like, I need to get mine out there. I need to get mine out there so these guys can chop it down or like it. Either way, whatever they want to do. Tell me what I did wrong. But I was like, I gotta be able to have. I want a full feature of my own. Like, hey, it's out there. Like, hey, I made
Yeah.
one finally. Yeah. I think I'm almost too like perfectionist where it's like I keep planning and honing and getting it, but I don't get the job done because I'm just sitting there. I want to change this. I want to change that. I got to just get off quit being worried about just like we did with a Serial Rabbit, just to make it, just
Yeah.
fucking get out there and make it.
Well, I mean, you've done it, what you said twice already as a short.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So
I just gotta string my story together because I have the short story. And like I said, I keep thinking of the lore, and I was like, ah, man, just like you said, just make a good short film, or not short film, but just a good story that'll keep the audience like engaged in the story. Like it's taken me a while, but I think I finally got what I want. I'll have it. I'll have it probably ready here before the end of the year, and hopefully start filming in January. Because anytime you want to film somebody in costume, you should film in a well, it's cold because those costumes are hot. It's
yeah.
hot inside the costume.
Now you've made the costume already for the the
The
work.
werecow, yeah,
Yeah.
the werecow has a costume, but I would change it. I want to change it up a little bit here and there. You know, more. The mask I feel like I like a lot, pretty much. Like I was worried, like in if you see in Chill Rabbit, you don't really see it very often, but like it's that cow mask you can get at Spirit Halloween. I bought it a couple of years ago, but then I spray painted like cloth fabric, painted mine, and did some stuff to it, and then I had made this is about the third or fourth iteration of teeth that's in it. But this last one, I had bought like last couple Halloweens ago. I bought a werewolf mask and I cut the teeth out of that werewolf mask and stuck it in there. So it has the teeth on the top and the bottom teeth, but there's a tongue. And I was always like, I know that tongue is there, and it's just like a stiff tongue,
Yeah.
and I hate it. But watching Werecow, you don't really see it all that much. I was like, but it's like crap or stuff about your film, but but the
Yeah.
audience is you're gonna know, and you're kind of hung up on it. You're like, oh man, I don't like that. I don't want
Yeah.
them to see that. I was like, they're not even gonna notice it. You only know because you've been staring at it forever.
Now,
Yeah.
do you do your own editing or?
I do. I do. So I have before, and I need to get back into it. Just watching this last episode of Long Shot, Brett's going there editing, and like I was like, I kind of do it the way he's talking. I didn't do all of it the way he's talking, but the way to do like the dialogue shots, I was like, I do that. I just feel like there's got to be a better way, but I mean that's the way he's doing it, and I don't with that. So I did. I guess I was doing it okay. It's just I just need to do it more often.
Yeah. And I think editing is one of those things that is like everybody has their own style of doing it,
Mm-hmm.
there's no right or wrong. There's just easier ways.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and there's a word in Spanish. It's called mañas. I don't know how to say mañas in English.
Me
Um,
neither.
um, it's like idiosyncrasies. You
Uh-huh.
know that like I have my certain ticks that I like my audio to be well because I always record scratch audio with with boom and everything, so I will always leave the scratch audio on there as a reference. I never deleted. One of my friends, she was like, no dude, delete that shit, and she just went through, and I was like, wow, no, because I just it's a force to have it, but yeah, it or splitting up the timelines. I've seen people who just straight one timeline. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Idiosyncrasies. I guess that's what mine is. No, I don't know. I'll think of a word later on, but yeah, idiosyncrasies about editing. Um, Now we talked earlier about your production house,
Uh-huh.
because you called it Primary Focus Studios, and you said that's
Yeah.
mainly for your photography.
That's
Or
for photography, and for people that, just because I just felt like if you called it Nacho Cinema, people are like, oh, I'm not going to go. Who the heck is Nacho Cinema? Until Nacho Cinema is something, then yeah, then they'll do that. They'll be that, oh, you like Troublemaker Studios, or
yeah,
whatever. But yeah, I was like, yeah, then starting out, if somebody wants to use me, I'll call it Primary Focus Studios. So that way it'll be, it's kind of something along the same lines. Like I want to make this my primary focus. I want to be doing film and photography as for my living. That's what I want to do, and then, but you could also say, where our clients are our primary focus. I had all kinds of different ideas for it.
okay. Now I got a question because you keep saying this is what I want to be doing in my life, and this goes. I'm gonna get a little bit deep here. As
Okay.
far as like us as veterans, and even going into the creative aspect of it, and having to deal with certain, I guess, emotional states and yada so forth, and like I said, being a big procrastinator, how does it all play into who you are as a filmmaker? Because a lot of times we do have to deal with, as veterans, and it's Veterans Day, so I guess I'll hit on it. As
Uh-huh.
veterans, we have to deal with mental blocks, or even those days that when I can't deal with shit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think everybody has those days. Everybody has those days where they just like, I don't want to deal with it. I just want to just stay in bed all day. Um, ooh, my soda. Um, yeah, it's just how would you do it? As, I'm like, where's the question in there exactly? Like, what?
Like your I guess, have you had those days, and how do you deal with it? I mean, you know what I mean?
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure we all like. For me, being like those down days, those kind of like depressed days where you don't want to do anything. That's also kind of like a creative time in my mind. For like, I kind of like it sometimes. So I don't want to be depressed all the time, but sometimes I kind of feel more creative during that. Like I listen to different music or read a book, which I do need to do. I haven't read anything in a long time. I spend too much time on things like this, watching people you watching people's podcasts or just dude, I waste hours just on like little freaking videos. It's like 30-second videos, but I'll be done like an hour's worth of time on 30-second videos. So that's a
Yep.
lot of just I do see myself getting less attention span from that. And I think that's the problem with the world. But going back to it, it's just, yeah, you're gonna have your down days. You gotta have like friends, you gotta have your buddies that'll like check on you or that you can call. And that's one of the reasons I like filming. It just keeps my mind off of just like negative stuff. Oh, we're gonna film this today. Cool. I know what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go out there and film today. Like you've seen the films we make with Brett and the stuff I do on my own. I'm just busy. Like it's pretty much busy all the time. But that film stuff does not feel like work. Film stuff does not feel like work.
Yeah.
Work is work. You go into work and you're like, oh, I got to do this, and it's just monotonous. Film stuff has not. We'll be working all weekend, like all day long, and be tired, but ready
Yeah.
to go, and it does not feel like work at all. Like that's what when I say I want that, I want that. I
Yeah.
want to be able. I want to be working somewhere and doing stuff I love, and where like it just you make enough money so I can like survive, but I want that kind of feeling. I like the work that I do right now. It's kind of like paperwork kind of stuff, and it never ends. You don't get whew, I'm done. You never like. I like mowing the yard. You mow the yard, you can start from the beginning. You see the work you're doing, and then you got to clean yard afterwards. This stuff is like the grass is growing right after I mow it. My regular job is like I go through it, like it's just still. It's like, oh man, it's crazy.
That is true, because most people who work 9 to 5 jobs, they're like, fuck, dude, I'm, when's 5 o'clock getting here? We're on
Yeah,
film sets, and I've been on film set where it's like, dude, we passed that 12-hour mark. You're physically exhausted. You're like, fuck it, dude. We got one more shot, just one more shot. And that turns into another 3-4 hours. And before you know, you're at 18-hour mark. You're like, fuck, dude. Yeah. And then you just go home and you're like, dude, sweat marks have sweat marks. But
yep,
you're happy. You're mentally exhausted, but you're so drained, and you're like, fuck yeah, I feel accomplished.
yes, yes, and that's what I want. I want that feeling, making my own for film. My own feature. I'll be like, yeah, we finally did it. But I'm always gonna be like I don't know how like you do it. Like you're showing your film, and people are there, like when we were watching your film at that theater, that one speaker like basically right above me or was
Yeah.
the whole time, and I was like, for me as a filmmaker, I would be like, why? I'd be like, why is that speaker messed up? I
Bro,
was
my
like,
anxiety was off the fucking roof. And my wife complains about this stuff because she's like, dude, you've already done the film. They're here to watch it. I'm like, I know, but that's part of the process, because if they
yeah,
leave not like they didn't see the film because of that stupid speaker, then I didn't do my job, It's like, and so my anxiety is always off the roof at the premieres or at screenings. And I'm like, fuck, dude. So yeah, no,
yeah. Plus, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go.
No, plus I noticed with these film festivals, the different theaters, like the sound, but also the projection.
Yeah.
They it's like, oh, it's too, like, you go watch the film, like, man, he was too blown out. The film was too bright. And then you're like, no, man, it's not that way, And I so you see the file, you're like, oh, or it's too dark, And here's it's like it's the projection, not the thing, but the audience doesn't know. They
Yeah.
go they just assume the theater's perfect, and what I see is, and the sound and the audio is going to be what these guys did. And then when you watch it, it's like, dude, that's not ours. We didn't.
Dude, we had one where we screened it, and I don't know why the colors were off, and it looked like it was green.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so green. Like everybody looks sickly and like you said, faded looking. And I was like, man, come on. But I was happy to be at the festival. I'm not
yeah,
gonna say what festival this was, but
yeah,
it was like, dude, they could have put a little bit, just calibrate the colors, calibrate.
yeah. But that's the like things you got to get when you have those, or like your audience isn't gonna, they don't know what your stuff truly looks like.
Yeah.
You know.
Now I have a question for you on that too, and I asked this to everybody dealing with criticism, because again, like, and there's no big secret, Silver Rabbit, everybody either hates it or loves it. I don't
Yeah.
think there's any real happy medium with Silver Rabbit. It's
No.
and it's hard because as a filmmaker, you're either gonna take that to heart or it just like fuck it, whatever. You, how do you take criticism when it happens? Like, dude, like let's say Word Cow. I'm pretty
It's
sure
gonna
you,
happen.
like, oh, it's a shitty movie. The special effects are crap. The mask, it's a mask because you can see the line where. How do you deal with shit like that?
Oh man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but you're gonna be like, uh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to, because I see criticism and I see stuff. These are all films I'm helped working on, but like I am not like the whole 100% got you like the idea. So I don't think I'm as close to the idea for like say with Brett's films. Like I'm not as close to the idea. Like I didn't create it, so I don't feel. But then sometimes you get like, I do like Lady Lawman has some different reviews and different things on there, and they're like, oh, it looks like a bunch of friends got together and just filmed a western, or like, oh, or they complain about like the props. We got these like kind of older style like metal pans and stuff like that, and or even the saddles. People are like, oh, nobody had new stuff. Nothing was ever new. It should be all old and dirty. And in my mind, I'm like, somebody made new shit back then. Like those saddles didn't disappear, as
Yeah.
old saddles. It used to be somebody made that saddle by hand, and it was new at one point. And you kind of get like mad about that stuff, but I don't think I have enough criticism pointed directly at me to totally 100% answer that question.
Yeah.
I do know I'm going to have to be able to deal with stuff like that. Like us, people are going to say what they're going to say. The internet is there, and those people are out there. Like you said, the nitpickers, they're going to be like, oh, this doesn't have this or this. They're just like watching the movie for not not for enjoyment, but more to criticize, more to pick apart.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're there to enjoy a film. They're there to just like, this wasn't done right, or this wasn't done right, stuff like that.
How do you how
So
do
it's really tough for me.
so how do you watch movies? Do you watch it from the filmmaker's point of view, or you sit there like you said and just enjoy the film?
I go for enjoyment. I also go for like learning. Like I want to, oh, what did these guys do? Like for your film, I was like, oh, what did he do on like, because I saw your zombie one and the Sacred Mask one,
Yeah.
and I was like, how did he do it? I was like, oh, cool. I could do that. Like you had in the Sacred, well, in your zombie one, you had a longer driving sequence, and they're talking in the car,
Yeah.
and then you had the Sacred Mask. I was like, oh, he still likes these driving, he still likes these driving sequences. But I think in the first one, I think you did a green screen, whereas
Yes.
I think Sacred Mask was actual film driving footage. It
Yes.
wasn't green screen. Is this what at least what I think?
Yeah.
And
No, you got it.
I was like, oh, he changed it. He changed it up. But yeah. I just go for like not like it's a bad thing or anything, but the other film, that Chupacabra film, their sound. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like the way I put my headphones on, it got a lot more quieter. Um, the sound in that movie was all up front, like everything. Like you talked about leveling. Like I
Yeah.
don't think there was leveled. I think everything was like right in the front, right?
Yeah.
Like the steps on the gravel were same as the level of the talking, same as everything was. It seemed like it was all coming right at you from the very front. And I just want to try to enjoy the film for the film. Like, hey, this is the kind of movie I want to make. Guy in a costume, killing people. But it's just some things as the filmmaker part of us, like you're like, oh, I can't let that stupid sound go,
Yeah.
you know. But finally, I did. Finally, I just like, okay, this is how it is. This is how it is. And then I did enjoy the movie, but it's still tough to kind of watch the movie without kind of going, oh, it's this or that. But it's also cool to see how it's done by other people, to see it done differently. Like, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
came up pretty cool. So yeah, it's just gonna be. Yeah, that's how I usually I go in for a movie to watch a movie for enjoyment. If it's like a big budget Hollywood movie, I definitely want to enjoy the movie. But sometimes I feel when I go in with lower expectations, when I'm not expecting the movie to be good, I like it better. Sometimes, just like or that's why I like watching independent stuff, because you don't have like a big celebrity that
Uh,
that celebrity's gonna make it all the way through the film. Like, oh, this guy isn't gonna die. He's gonna survive the whole thing. Whereas independent, you're like, anything could happen.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm about, enjoying the film. I want to be able to come out of the film and go, oh, that was cool. I like this part, or that kind of thing.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite genre of films to
Oh
and
man.
watch?
So favorite genre to watch, probably like comedy, horror. Like horror and comedy is like my favorite. Like say like American Werewolf in London. I
Yeah.
love that one. But I love The Thing, or Halloween. So a lot of horror stuff. I pretty much like all of it. Like there's different things like I wanted. And that's another aspect that was in this other movie that I was like, crap, I kind of like, because I kind of miss those movies. Are like, hey, we need to make $70,000 to save the house. Or we need to do this to do, like you had those movies where they just like, I think there was Breaking Two, Electric Boogaloo, where they had to like make money to save somebody's house or to
Yeah.
where all the kids hung out. And I was like, I need to put that in the movie. They don't see that in the movies. And that Chupacabra, I'm like, they had a little bit of that, or they had to think 50K to save somebody's, like that old pig stand or whatever that place.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah. And I was like, oh, I can't totally use that. But I was like, I still could, because I wasn't copying there. Like, how you feel like, oh, I can't use that because I'm copying. But that was just an idea. But yeah, pretty much, dude, I'm the '80s. What were we called? Latchkey, like no one was home. We just
Yeah.
watched
Latchkey
everything.
Kid.
Latchkey kids, like my parents weren't home. At the house, we had cable. With my dad and stepmom took us to the movies every weekend. Like
Yeah.
every weekend, we were at the Northwest 14 or Northwest 10. Then it became 14. And I don't know what it is now, but right there off of 10 and 410, we
Okay.
were, yeah, we were always at that theater like all the time. Watched Clash of the Titans, Superman, like everything. I watched at that
Yeah.
theater for the long time.
Did y'all
Yeah.
have that cable box with the little slider on the top that went all the way to 99?
Yeah, when you were the controller for your dad, like, oh, you go back again and move it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
old school. We had the one of our first VCR was a Quasar with a, what was it? Was it called the remote? It was a remote, but it was wired. It was like the remote was a wire that went to the back, and you could like pause and play and stuff like that. And remember the movie by Disney, Dragon Slayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first movie I recorded on a VHS tape, was that Dragon Slayer movie
That's
way back.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen the remotes. I'm gonna have to look that up because
Yeah, it was a Quasar. Look at Quasar, like 1980 something, 82 probably, 83. But the remote was not like radio. It didn't send a signal. It was a cable that went to the back. Like you remember those little remote? They would call it remote control cars,
yeah,
but it would have like a wire, and
yeah,
you could guess what this was like. It was the same thing.
that's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up because I've never seen that one before. Now,
Oh
working
yeah.
on films, what films or what type of genre films do you like to work on best?
Oh man.
Because I hate documentaries.
Yeah, I have never done a documentary. I don't mind watching them. I've never worked on one, so I don't know. You worked on Mouse's films. You get kind of like techno sci-fi. What do you call it? Cyberpunk kind of thing. Kind of more detective. This is what he likes to do, and I don't mind working on any of that. And I've worked on well, like a horror. I've worked on I don't know if this would be kind of like drama, an alien movie called Abduction. Um,
Abduction, which
Abduction. It's Abduction. I worked with this other guy, Brett Wilson. Abduction of the Fourth Kind. It was a couple years ago. I think he's got it on Tubi, and it's starting to gain stuff. It's
okay.
The favorite part in there is the part that I filmed by myself of the alien abduction in my friend's garage. I think that's my favorite part of it. The rest of it, I'm like, hey, it's a little different, but that one looks like that one looks like you show that trailer, you're gonna want to see that movie.
Oh, I'm gonna have to freaking. Now you said abduction.
Abduction of the Fourth Kind. This is a first time filmmaker. There's a lot of stuff I was trying to say, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. But then I kind of just like, hey, I'll just be quiet and I'll just help film.
It's hard sometimes.
Yeah,
This was back
yeah,
in 2022.
yep.
Yeah. All right, I'll watch it later. I'm not gonna watch it right now. I just have to pull it up that way I don't forget to watch it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I helped this other film called The Race Within. We did some stuff, and I actually have to watch the final product because I don't know if they've had me go back and film some like plates for the green screen, and then I actually filmed a couple sequences with the creature, and that one is in the trailer too. And again, that was filmed in a garage. Like if you if you look at the trailer
yeah.
for the Race Within, there's a trailer scene where like the lights behind her and her hair's flying, and they do something with her face. I was like, they did some more to her face. They digitally enhanced her face, but I did that scene. I was like, hey, my scene made the trailer.
Yeah,
So
because it says The Wraith Within, Night
yeah,
Watchman, Tech Conspiracy, Serial Rabbit 7. So those are your attributes.
yep, yep.
So I'm gonna have to watch at least the abduction of the fourth kind. That's pretty badass. I don't know, man. It's crazy because yeah, when once we left school, it was one of those like, yeah, I had that hunger that I had to get on set, on any set, like you said. And
Yep.
I was just like, the bad thing was when you pimp yourself out to get into the film industry. And I think that's what most people don't realize, that in order to get into the industry, you kind of almost have to sell yourself, be
Hmm.
accepted. And then once you're there, you're like, okay, cool. Now what? And I think that's
Yeah,
where you're at. You're at that empath where you're like, now what? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. No, but Brett is pushing me. He's like, hey man, we gotta get your own. We gotta get your own. Do your own film. And he's like, he'll say he'll he'll do the finance. He'll produce it. And I'm like, cool. But I definitely want his help, but I kind of want to try to see how much of it I can do. Like, I don't know. This is where I'm at. I'm like, should I say, hey, okay, Brett, I want you to help me, but I want to do this camera work, most of this, or if I should, or should I just totally direct? Like it's that crazy, like, because I only get to do camera work on some of Brett's like really got his vision. And he wants what he wants. And he can move
Yeah.
really fast with what. So I'm there. I filmed a couple sequences by myself for him at different levels, but it's just kind of like background stuff. Um, but yeah, I'm just like, no, I want to film it. The editing, definitely, I want his help on editing. I think he'll be a way faster editor than I would.
But okay. So let me ask you this, because this is something interesting that I have to post,
Oh,
only because as a filmmaker, if somebody's going to offer me to finance my first film, I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude.
yeah,
Why? But at the same time, I want the experience, like you said, I want that experience of And I tell this when I was I've talked to people because they invited me to talk to a class at school.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what's the biggest thing you hate? And I'm like, the biggest thing I hate is when people tell you, or you see these YouTube videos like 10 things a first time filmmakers should not do, 20 things filmmakers suck at that you should avoid. And I'm like, why? Fucking do it. Learn
Yeah.
from your mistakes. That's the best thing to do. Is like all my films, especially the LVZ, I learned so much crap that I should not have done that I knew, like you said, I watched the stupid videos and I did all this stuff and I watched those little 30-second spots and all that, but I still ended up doing them. But I think because of that, I actually learned, and my second film hopefully is better than my first film. But I don't know. It's one of those things like, yeah, you're right. It's like, take the money and get the producer who has the experience of 40 plus films and he can make it for me. Or do I want to fucking fall on my face flat and like learn? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've been learning. I've been learning this whole process with Brett, through Brett. Like in like I said, like it's been like the master sensei. Like, hey, dude, this is like I've learned how to deal with the talent, with the actors who go, no, I would hit him this way, and I would do that. It would be that fast, and it would be over just like that. And we're like, yeah, but if that's because you're technically you're trained for real and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
This is a movie. I was like, this is a movie. We want it to look cool. It not be like the real thing. We want it to look cool. Just because the car crashes doesn't mean it explodes every time.
Yeah.
But in movies, it pretty much does explode every time in a movie because it's a movie. Like
Yeah.
things are done a certain way because it's a movie. People want realism. They want realistic stuff, but then they don't realize like, well, if you showed us a realistic movie, it wouldn't be as exciting as over the top.
Yeah. It's like fight scenes don't make that.
Yeah.
I've never been in a fight or have been around a fight where you hear all these cool sound effects when somebody hits or punch or whatever. I'm like, I wonder if real life would be like that.
You remember? I feel like the first movie that started doing that, or the first movie I noticed the loud noises on for the punches, was Action Jackson. You remember Action Jackson? And it was like, I was like, what the heck? That was like really loud, like a gunshot. It wasn't just a fun.
Yeah, because if you watch Rocky, it's a fucking boxing movie. I don't think, and maybe I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't think or remember the loud.
I think it came maybe by Rocky 4, maybe, but not the first Rocky. Was more just just like maybe they were punching the meat like he was when he was practicing. It wasn't super loud like explosive punches. I think Tango and Cash was another one where they used a shit ton of like power in the punches and things like that.
It's like the next level would be that Batman. You know how the old Batman sees like pow cow. Yeah, and you see these big.
Bang! Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, no. So, huh?
Go ahead. I was gonna say that's the kind of stuff I want people to come out from my film or to remember. Like, oh man, remember when they did this, and that kind of like just have those memories. Just like because I like Tango and Cash. I like those. Just the different things about those movies. It's been years, and I still remember that craziness. Action Jackson. Who even remembers Action Jackson?
I don't think this generation has any of those movies, or much less can those movies even be made in this generation to where you're like, get away with some of the shit that we got away with watching.
We need to try to well, we can't remake it, but we need to make a movie like oh shoot, the name went blank on me. The Last Dragon.
Oh, the Bruce Leroy.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's a great movie. That's like, what? These guys got glowing power and they're karate masters and stuff. Yeah.
Show enough.
Yeah, show enough.
But you know what though? You can't get away with some of these jokes anymore. And like I like watching Sarah Rabbit because he pushes the envelope a lot. And it goes back to, again, it's a movie. You're supposed to be entertained. It's not political. It's not nothing. You just laugh
Yeah,
at the stupid joke. It's a
yeah,
stupid joke. That's all it is.
yeah.
It's not racist. Well, yes, it is racist, but it's not meant to like,
It's
oh, I hate all black people. All right, no,
right.
it's not.
Yeah, it's not coming from hate. It's coming from just trying to be funny. Just stuff we think is funny, and like you said, everybody's too like, oh, they're too sensitive. Plus, I hate the people that get sensitive on behalf of somebody else. I'm like, man, why are you even getting mad? It's not even, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so much different stuff. Like I get my kids, you know, oh, just different things. I just get them angry at different things. I'm like, man, why? That's just a person, Why how come I have to call this person a he, she, or this or that? How come their right outweighs my right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
why can't my opinion work?
I was after I watched the movie, I walked up to Kiki and he's like, dude, he asked me a question. I'm like, bro, that Indian guy, the worst portrayal of a Native American. I take that so like. He's like, huh? I'm like, I'm joking with you, man. Because he kind of
Uh
overplayed the Indian just a little bit, and I was like,
huh.
okay, I see where he's going with this. It's a Western film, so you have to follow the genre etiquette. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a Western.
Yeah. That's how they work. I mean, yeah. Yeah. It was cool. Okay. Oh man. Let me go talk to you offline on this part of that movie. I don't know. I want to ask you for like, there's a scene in there that I feel like we could cut this scene. Like when they're just talking about the land and this and that.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe, and this is I don't know if you want, we could go backtrack and I think sometimes the the message overplays in the film, and that's when it takes you out of the film. And
Yeah.
this happens in a lot of films, not just Brett's and or in that specific scene, because I think I did it too in I can't remember what it was, but it yeah, as a filmmaker, you always have a message. You have an underlying message that you want to
Yeah.
tell, regardless
Yeah.
of you know what I mean. And I think sometimes we kind of butter that bread a little bit too much, and we lose our audience because that butter's a little too thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It all depends on the filmmaker if he's comfortable with doing it or not. And I know again, Brett doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna tell you he's gonna do it how he wants to do it, and that's the trick of his films. You know what I mean? You're on for the ride and just enjoy it. But when
Yeah.
he gets to certain points, he wants to make sure that you got that point. But I don't know. As a filmmaker, I've made that mistake though. And somebody's told me, he's like, dude, you got to cut it out because it's like you could really tell where your message and the film message kind of diverted and it took you out of that film. So I know with Sacred Mass, I had to take out a couple of things. But again, I also get in trouble for Sacred Mass because one of the biggest things that they told me was the fact that there's a lot of how can I say I abuse women a lot in the film, and so it could be taken negatively. And so that I was told that, and I was like, okay, um, I
The
didn't take it
story
that way,
though
but
doesn't have.
I see it now where
Yeah.
I'm abusing the crap out of my female actresses several
Uh-huh.
times. But
But
again,
that's what.
it goes back to the
Yeah.
genre etiquette. It's like,
Yeah. That was the story. Like, oh, hey, they're just if there's no story if there's no if that stuff that happens to them doesn't happen to them. It's
yeah.
just like yeah. I mean, yeah. No.
Well, it's just okay. For example, it's just like 007. They want to revamp what 007 is
Uh huh.
because he's very misogynistic,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and machoism and all that good shit. But again, he's 007. I don't think you could have 007 story without certain things that are
Aspect.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's not Tom Cruise, who MI6 or whatever, but even then, he's the same way in his. He's a little misogynistic. Actually, no, he's very misogynistic in his films, at least for the spy films. But again, it goes back to that genre ethics of or etiquette of having the spy who's a womanizer. He uses everything to his benefit because that's who he is. He's a spy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that stuff, but well, because I grew up with all that stuff. I grew up with all of that stuff where you know the guys were macho and they just did whatever, and the boundaries were set a certain way. I guess stuff does move and stuff does change,
Yeah,
and then like I always go back to um the movie I Am Legend, but I read the book. In the book, like if you ever read the book I Am Legend, and it's similar in the movie as well.
mm,
In the book, people start turning into like vampires and doing stuff, and he goes around and he's killing everybody because they're vampires,
yeah,
right? But it turns out later they evolved to like they were the monsters, but they evolved to a society, and he's killing them still because he's like, hey, they're monsters.
yeah,
But he became the monster. That's why he's legend. I am legend because I'm killing. I'm the monster now. I'm not the one like I'm old society, and this is new society, and they're all vampires, so they're not monsters anymore. They're the norm. I'm
yeah,
not the norm, and that's how I feel. I'm like, dang. I just see that for life. I'm like, man, you get older, and the generation after you changes up how they think, and then your way of thinking is not the same. Just like your grandparents probably would say certain words that you would never say, right?
yeah,
And then you will say words that your children don't like you to say, but you slowly change. The words are still there. The words are just different. Like I mess with my kids. It's like, hey man, you guys want some glizzies? You even know what a glizzy is?
no, what's a glizzy?
Glizzy is a hot dog, right? It might have some other stuff, but for the most part, a glizzy is a hot dog, right? You got glizzies, you got for real. You got all this different way to talk, and my kids hate it when I talk to them like that.
Where's
Like
that from? Like where?
what,
Where do you?
dude,
Yeah,
it's going around. It's like, TikTok, Instagram. Just look up the word glizzy. Like I said it at a restaurant, and there was a younger one of my nephews, no, one of my cousin's daughters, and we're at a Mexican restaurant at Mitieras, and I was like, I wonder if they got glizzies around here, and she's like, what? And then I was like, does it mean anything else? I was like, I just think it is hot dogs. She's like, no, it's hot dogs, but it could be other things. But glizzy for the most part is hot dog. I don't know. I don't think it means anything else right now. Or it might, but I only know the hot dog version of it. Yeah, for real, for real. I think fam. All right, fam. Come on, fam. Cap, cap, no cap, all that stuff.
I'm gonna. Yeah, and then you say, "Oh, yes." In most cases, simply straightforward way to refer to a hot dog itself.
Yeah, it's like at work, I'll say, hey, I'm gonna go to Sam's. Does anybody want a glizzy? Because you can get those hot dogs at Sam's for
Yeah.
like the hot dog and a drink for like $1.40. And they're like, yeah, man. And they're like, what's a glizzy? What's a glizzy? And then now I got everybody at work saying, are you gonna go get glizzy?
That's crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that is.
Yes, there's a whole other language still that's happening. It's kind of like we're becoming old, and we become like, I think I'm older than you. I don't know how old you are, but like we're becoming like our terminology, our lingo, which is it's still there, but there's new stuff out there.
Yeah,
And it doesn't always stick. You remember the 80s, you got totally tubular, gag me with a spoof, all that stuff. It doesn't
yeah.
stay around. But what if Glizzy becomes hot dog? Like it's like that's what it is right now. So cap and no cap, right?
Cap and no cap. No.
No, what the
I'm
heck,
just,
man? You've been living under a tree on a rock or something? Cap, cap means I'm not lying to you. No. Cap means I am lying to you. If I say no cap, that means it's true. No cap, man. No cap. You
really.
just got, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the oldest one I remember is joshing you. I'm
Oh,
joshing you.
Josh, that's an old one. Yeah, Josh is. Oh, yeah.
Again, I'm old as hell. No, like what was it? Riz.
Riz. Oh yeah, it's like, hey, that's how you're smooth. You got your Riz going. You can like work. You can like I guess it's like charm, right?
Yeah,
But Riz.
it's short for what is it called? Man, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, my kids taught me that one, and I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, Dad, that's Riz." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
Just just tell them something true, and just say no cap at the end and watch their faces. You know, because no cap means like no bullshit
Yeah,
for real, right? So you just tell them something and be like, yeah, no cap, man. Me and your mom used to go, you know, beat up people on whatever, whatever you're gonna say, but just say no cap at the end and watch their faces.
I'm
They're
gonna
gonna
have
get.
to do that.
If you say no cap, they're like no cap, and then add fam at the end, no cap fam, because like their family, no cap fam, their faces are gonna be like, what the hell is wrong? Don't talk. They're gonna tell you what my kids said, like, don't talk like that. Nobody talks like that. I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying. Well, you know what I'm saying. So people
Yeah, so
do talk.
apparently, yeah, people talking like that because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That is crazy, bro.
yeah.
So going back to filmmaking,
No
no
cap.
cap.
Okay.
Going back to filmmaking. Oh my goodness. All right. So from here, what's the next thing for you?
From here for sure, finish my own script for this
Uh,
Werecow movie, make it, kill people throughout this film, make it bloody, and then go from there. Put it out there for you guys to see, and you guys to say either to laugh or to, hey man, that came out pretty good. Whatever, It's just like I got to put myself out there for the critics so I can see what they say. And then, like I said, I got to see if I can handle it, which I think I can handle it. I'm not like a little kid who doesn't have, who's never dealt with emotions before. I'll be able to go, okay, yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, you're right, that part did suck, or oh come on, man, I like that part. You don't like that part, that kind of thing.
yeah.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, it's okay, because like it's like you just going up and telling a joke. Sometimes a joke doesn't hit all the time. Sometimes it bombs and it's bad, and you're like, okay, I can see why it's bad. Or you
Yeah.
could go, oh, well, I didn't think it was that bad. I guess it's not your style of humor or whatever. Just my you've met me, you know me enough to where I'm just about trying to have fun. I just want to have fun. I don't want to. I'm not trying to. Right now, I'm not trying to like make people have an emotional adventure and cry. I'm more about like I'm just trying to make people laugh.
Nice, nice. I like that because a lot of times, yeah, again, going back to we have a message. We always have a subvert message we want to tell. But if all you want to do is just entertain people, that's even better because you're not going at this with that state of mind that you have to make sure something goes in there because that makes all the difference and yada yada so forth. All that bullshit as a filmmaker that we overthink and
Yeah,
overprocess, and you're like, you didn't get that, you didn't see that one thing in the scene that I left, that Easter egg, and that means so much. And dude, I don't give a fuck. It was a great movie. Yeah. So
yeah.
no, you said by January, so I'm going to hold you to this because I'm going to
Okay.
keep up with you. By January, you said you're going to finish writing your film.
Hopefully, you're ready to start filming in January. I want to finish it before the end. I'm going to finish the script before the end of the before December, because my birthday's December 31st. So before my birthday, I want a script done. I want to start prepping, thinking about where I'm going to film, and then hopefully start filming in January.
All right. So
All
Joey,
right, if it's
with
on film, you got it recorded.
yeah, on Film Noobs, everybody's going to like hold you to it. Come January, I'll give everybody progress reports. Like, yeah, Joey's still waiting to finish writing his movie. But
It's
this will
all
help
cat.
us. It'll help us and help you. Want to help us through the process of making a feature film, first time filmmaker. Which this is the first time because normally I get guys who have stuff in distribution, and we talk about the distribution process and whatnot. So with you, we'll take it differently with the fact that we're taking the process from the beginning to the end. So hopefully this time next year, we'll be talking about your distribution process. Fingers crossed, because
Yeah.
Joey, I'm going to hold you to it. So as
Okay.
bad buddy, I'm gonna hold you to that motherfucker and be like, hey, dude, 1 year, where we at? You know what I mean?
We'll be done. We'll be done. We're gonna make it. We're gonna
Cool,
make
cool.
it.
So, real quick before we wrap up, any shout outs?
Any shout outs? Just check out notsosane.com. Watch the Long Shot on podcast if you're interested. Long Shot on YouTube if you guys are interested in making films. This kind of gives you a breakdown on how to make a film. There's about 8, I think 10 episodes of just from behind the scenes, and then you got your boring. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's not boring. But the beginning, your pre-production, writing things or planning, that's not always like
Shit, y'all got
fun. Huh?
17 so far.
17 episodes. Crap, I can't remember. He's like you say, he's prolific. He's like, hey, where's the footage from the festivals? I was like, I took some here. I took mostly photos. He's like, just give me whatever you got. I was like, okay. So
He's
because he wants
crazy,
to add a
dude.
little festival. Yeah, dude, this dude is always working. He's always working on films. And this man lives and loves filmmaking.
Yeah. I couldn't keep
And
up with that's I know I felt him at that, and I'll admit it. And the fact that I fell through because I just couldn't keep up. The way he does things and the way he thinks and processes shit, I couldn't keep up with it because I am a noob. I'm a novice, and I want to kind of take my time in learning the process and failing along the way because I think that's more fun. But yeah, dude, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing I did. Like I've been going, but I've been on all the sets. Basically, like I said, every time I go out, every film we do, I learn something. If you watch The Night Watchman, we built all those sets. Like I never built a set before, but we built all the sets in that Night Watchman series. And in that one 1,500 square foot place, we basically made 21 different sets. And just him and I. Just him and I. Oh, we did have a Moni. I can't remember her last name. Moni. Um, she has a like painting in Love Studios. She painted the walls. Like we'd come in there and she'd paint the walls for us, and we do this interior as a different
Yeah.
interior, paint the walls, But it was just like just learning that. I was like, man, we go through. Like I feel like those sets are not the greatest, but they're not horrible. I feel like they stand with like 80s movies. I mean, they could stand it. They're good. They're decent. I'm like, hey, these came out goddamn cool. Especially like the bar set. If you ever watch this go, is Night Watchman and looking where they're in the bar. That one came out totally badass. And like I didn't build that bar by myself. We built the bar. But like I painted that room and with the
Yeah.
ideas how it is. I was like, hey, we should have a rear projection, and we did. It looks cool as hell. I was like, it looks like a bar. This looks cool.
It actually did. So yeah, heads off to you. I thought it was actually filmed at a little dive bar or whatnot. So it's a set.
No, little pizza place was in the front. The bar was there. The office. The office was the premier area. The office space was like the best. Like the Watchman office. That was the like if you look at the Watchman office on the wall where it looks like wood slats, all it is painted brown with a
Yeah.
black marker, black paint going down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, shit, y'all did something like that. With wait, which one is it? I think it is Silver Rabbit with the
Oh,
confessional.
yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
that was just
the behind the scenes for the confessional, guys. If y'all need to go check out the long shot on YouTube because you see a lot of behind the scenes kind of secrets, and they are badass. But yeah, the confessional on the film, the way it was done, I like that. I really like that. So
looks like a confessional, right?
it does.
I was like, oh, we just need to buy some lace or something, and we shine a light through. And Brett bought that stuff at Party City, and then we were just trying to figure out the best way. And then we're like, oh, we put that snoot on there, and it direct the light right through it. I was
Yeah,
like, man, that looks like a freaking church. That looks like a church thing.
it does. It movie magic. So
Yeah,
where can we find you on the digits?
the digits. I have Primary Focus Studios on Instagram, which I need to use more. I have it on Facebook as well. And then I also have it on YouTube. I just don't post as much stuff on there. But I've been thinking about it. I need to start doing more things of just, I have so many different stupid random thoughts. I was just going to start doing stuff
I'm
like that. Or just
holding
at least just do it.
I'm holding you accountable, Joey.
All right, I'll start doing it. You gotta be one of my subscribers to subscribe, and then I'll start doing more.
And matter of fact, look, what primary focus, right? Or primary?
Yeah, from Focus Studios, I think I don't know, have like what 45 people or something because I don't put anything on there anymore. I need to though.
Oh, primary focus, studio primary.
I'll go put my face on there. I think I have a picture of a tree or something.
Yep, you have a picture of a tree. You have 51 subscribers.
All right, so you're gonna be 52?
No, I actually am a subscriber.
Oh, you already are. Okay,
Yes,
cool,
sir.
cool. So only 51 still.
All right, so this is our goal, guys, for Film Noobs. If we could get Joey to 60 subscribers in this next month,
Oh, that
actually,
would be cool.
yeah, if we could get him 60 by next month, that'd be badass. That's gonna push him as a filmmaker to start making more content and get his ass off the fucking damn chair, the procrastination chair, and
Dude,
get on writing his next film. So we're gonna support you that way, bro.
oh, thanks, man. It's a comfortable chair, though, man. It's and I can't say I'm totally on the procrastination chair. I'm like, I guess like maybe it's an excuse chair. I'm honing my skills to do this thing. Like I want it to look good, and I am procrastinating, but I am working towards it still. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like I am still. Oh yeah, I got the lenses, I got the camera, I got the lights, I got the different, just all the different aspects of filmmaking.
You
I
even have
know
the
what.
suit.
Yeah.
The suit for your workout.
Yeah, we got the snoot. I bought that one for Brett. I have my own. I got the snoot. I got everything. I'm gonna. The one thing I told Brett, I think we need, but Brett, that's his style. He says that's his style. I was like, I feel like we need more. We need more lighting and like maybe more. What's the word? Diffused lighting. He's like, no, I like the hard shadows. He goes, I kind of like that style. I was like, okay, that's your style. My style is not going to be totally harsh shadows. I want the scene to look a little more, just a little softer, a little, I want more separation between the actor and like the background.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I might get too, what is it like? Like, did you watch that one movie with the zombies in Vegas? I feel like I think they shot most of that movie on a 50 millimeter.
Oh, you're talking about the new one on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, he shot it on I think it was like a 18 mil or something like that. No.
I think it was the 18. Maybe he had a very shallow depth of field for that film.
It was a point 8 or something like that. Fucking stop on it, and that's all he shot it on.
Yeah. I don't want to do it highly like that, but I do kind of like that. But I don't want to go overboard on that.
I think he went overboard on that, especially for a zombie flick. I think he went a little bit too far with that really shallow depth of field, because even when you're focused on somebody and he just moves slightly left, slightly right, it drops off, and you're like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of like it, but like I said, too much. I feel like you got to use that for the certain scenes of like some emotional shit's going down or whatever. Like I always kind of like that. When you got I think that's why the Western works out really good, because there's no like wall directly behind you. It's really far, so that stuff will be out of focus.
Yeah.
But then I've seen other films where like it's almost too out of focus. It's almost like ew, I feel kind of sick because that's too blurred.
Yeah. No, but it does make sense. You're finding that perfect style for that type of movie. But I think once you hone it in, bro, it's gonna be badass. But again, you have the costuming, you have the idea, you have somewhat of a story. Joey, I'm gonna hold you to it, brother.
All right, I might need you to be a victim somewhere along the line if you want to get murdered or get cow stomped or whatever. We'll put a horn through you or something.
Nice.
I definitely want somebody's gonna get a horn through them. And just like in my short film, somebody's going to get that kind of Aliens Ripley, where the aliens is right there by the face, and then tongue, the actual cow tongue from wherever I buy it is going to slap someone in the face.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah,
we're definitely going to get all slimy and shit. Yeah.
Yep. We did that in the film, and then my dad picked the cow tongue off of the ground and washed it off. and we ate it the next day.
Taquitos and shit.
Yeah, we do at Lingua. It was great, dude.
Oh man. All right, Joey. I do appreciate you coming on board. I know we can talk on forever, and I think my time's way up. I don't care.
Okay.
I had a great conversation, bro.
Thanks for sorry I forgot the first time, but I'm here now and I had a blast.
Cool. And again, I'm gonna hold you to it. So I'm gonna bring you back sporadically and see where we're at, man. Because
All
again,
right.
it keeps you on track and it holds you accountable, but hopefully it motivates you to get that feature film that you need. Because I think you have a great idea, and I told you that before. You have a great idea. You're an awesome person. You got great fucking sight, and you're hungry for it. So why not?
Yep. We'll do it. We'll do it with guys like you pushing me. We'll do it. I have other people going off. Like I said, I think I'm finally ready to get off the pot and go do it.
Nice.
Quit talking, do it.
All right, guys. With that said, thank you, Joey, for being on the podcast. Next week, hopefully, tune in or whenever. I don't have a schedule anymore because we've been so busy with everything. But hopefully, we get back on track. We get film news back on track. Again, interviewing badass filmmakers like Joey and everybody else that we've had. And we continue to grow our little community here in Texas and everywhere else because it is a small community. And until then, keep watching film, guys. Keep fucking hitting the like on other people's projects because the metadata does matter. It helps us build that great community as well as that support for the filmmakers. So again, till next time, keep watching films. All right, see y'all. Bye.
That's here. Thanks.